Every year, I run a course called the Evidence Engine. You've heard me talk about it many times on the podcast. And today, I am very excited to be joined by Sarah, who is going to share her story, her experience of the course, and what that did for her as a teacher and as a person, an individual. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Selena Woodward, and I'm an English and drama teacher, university lecturer, and with edufolios.org, a big-time reflective practitioner. So how can reflective practice help you grow your teaching skills, fall in love with your profession all over again, and help you nail accreditation and teacher registration with less stress and less work? Well, this is the Reflective Teacher Podcast.
Welcome to the Reflective Teacher Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Selena Woodward, and today I am joined by Sarah Baz, as she became affectionately known. Hey, Sarah. Sarah was one of my students in the Evidence Engine at the end of last year, and Sarah has very generously agreed to come and chat with you about her experiences. I love having students back on the podcast because they share their stories and their stories so resonate with so many people out there. So I am absolutely sure that what Sarah shares with us today is going to hit home for many of you listening out there. So welcome to the podcast, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm super excited to have you here too. I love sharing these stories. So I'm going to try really hard not to speak very much today because I want this to be all about you. And Sarah is laughing because as one of my students, she knows how hard that is for me. So Sarah, introduce yourself. Tell us your story. Tell us everything.
Okay. My name is Sarah Bazilenko. I started working in education when I was 19. My mum was a teacher for 20 years and I finished school and was like, I don't know, I might take a year off. I might go back to my hometown in Wellington and near Dubbo. And I started in an emotionally disturbed unit there as a teacher's aide. And then from there, I did a lot of work at the school for a year. I ended up going to uni out at Dubbo. Then I finished up there, came back to Sydney, started a different degree. So I started a primary ed degree, but I ended up changing and I did inclusive education and disability studies at ACU, which was it's kind of like a special ed degree, I guess. And I really enjoyed that there. But I got to the end of it and I was like, well, I don't really want to work in a segregated setting. I want something that's inclusive. And my friend had a child in a Montessori school and I picked them up when it was raining and I was like, oh, what's Montessori? I've heard that word before. And he just went blah and just told me all about it. And that weekend there was a documentary on Maria Montessori on TV. And I was like, oh my God, this is where it's at. This is it for me. So I signed up to do some training for that. And I did some AMI training, some 6 to 12 AMI, so primary school training for Montessori. And I got to the end of that and I got a job and I have worked in Montessori for the last 7 years. Yeah, eight this year, years in Montessori. And I work as a primary school teacher. I've recently just changed jobs and I'm loving my new work environment. And yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. So a wealth of knowledge there around special needs, emotional literacy, and then, of course, a real passion for Maria Montessori's methodologies, which is always awesome because, we get lots of people who are like, oh, but I do Montessori. Can I get HA? Can I do this? Of course you can. You're having an impact on kids. So of course you can. Okay, so there you are doing your thing. 6-7 years into your Montessori ed. This is me walking along being you. Woo-hoo. All right. And you decide that, you need the evidence engine. Why? What brought you to the evidence engine? What was your challenge? Why did you come find me and work with me?
So I started off by doing proficiency because that's what we need to do. So I did my proficiency, and then I listened to your podcast a bit, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, I was just looking for more information around education. So I found your podcast and started listening to it. And then I was like, actually, some of the HA things that you're talking about are some of the things that I'm already doing. Yeah, I didn't feel like there was a sort of community that I could go to about highly accomplished. Like I was fine with proficiency and I could get through that on my own. But for highly accomplished, I had a lot of questions and I needed a community. So that's why I came to you, because I thought that was a really good way to build a community.
Yeah, fantastic. So you were looking for a network of teachers and some support and some mentoring. So that was your biggest challenge, was it? Like finding that community?
So I had my Montessori community, but I didn't really have anywhere where I didn't have a community to do with HA or lead that people were confident. So there are people that had attempted to get that level of qualification, but there was no one who was confident in it. So that was the main thing.
Yeah, so that was your main challenge. Is that because you wanted advice, or you just wanted sisterhood or brotherhood to join, or what were you seeking from that community?
So I needed like tools to actually like apply, but I also needed I needed someone that I could throw ideas around with as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the tools and the people. Love it. Okay. So having completed the evidence engine successfully and been fabulous, what changes have happened for you? I mean, did you get out of it what you wanted? Did you find that community? Did you get more than that? What happened for you?
So I'm helping someone with proficiency at the moment. And I'm I'm still in contact. She's at my last school, and she's been really grateful for all the support that I've given, and I've showed her, how easy it can be to get through this process. And then at my new school, I've found someone who is trying to get through lead at the moment. And she has, so I've been sharing the things that I learned with her. And it's a different kind of dynamic because she's going for something higher than me. But what I learned in the evidence engine was that, it's like layers. It's layers of things that we need to do and people we're impacting on. Mm-hmm. So because I can see it holistically, I can offer her help as well.
Fantastic. And I can't wait to read an evidence set where a HA is coaching a lead through the accreditation process. That's a beautiful evidence set. I love that. That is HA evidence though, isn't it? Your 6.3s and your specific standards where if you're reviewing evidence for her and things like that, then that's a beautiful piece of HA evidence for you as you support a colleague through lead. That's brilliant. I really can't wait to read that one. That's a new one.
I'm also getting better at asking for feedback. So that's been a real catalyst for me as well. Like being able to go, hey, remember that conversation we had recently? I've just got a couple of questions. Would you be able to just shoot me an email with their answers in it? And it doesn't have to be like a massive thing. It doesn't have to be a sit down meeting with minutes and, it doesn't have to be all of that stuff. It just needs to be authentic. So that's been really good to be able to learn how to do that.
And did you come into the evidence engine thinking you'd be looking retrospectively and now you're looking in a different way? Or do you think you came in not really knowing which way to look and now you've got a direction? Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah. So before I came in, I had collected some evidence retrospectively. And when I signed up for the course, I had been listening to your podcast for a little while, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to use the tools that I get from this to be, to be in the moment with it. So go from the point that I'm at now and collect from here rather than being retrospective about it. Okay. So being able to change my thinking around that has been really helpful. And as a result, I haven't actually signed up for an HA sort of application yet because I want to get my in order without there being and just take my time with it and collect good quality stuff rather than, scrambling. Oh, I haven't met this and I haven't met that and I don't know what to do. I just want to take the pressure off myself, especially with being at a new job and a new location.
How do you think that takes the pressure off? Because that's really interesting, because we've just had a podcast come out about that, about how people assume that in order to start the accreditation, process, they actually already have to have all the evidence. It's like saying, oh, I can't begin this until I've already passed it, which is really crazy when you think about it. You'd never ask a kid to do an assignment having not taught them how to do the assignment. You don't expect them to, gather all their notes on Romeo and Juliet and then just know how to write an essay about that. That's not how it works. It's not how learning works. And, that can be quite stressful. And in that episode, I talked about how a lot of people that I coach come to me with a box of stuff or a folder of stuff. And then they start to not abandon that. They'll still tap into that. But there is a lot of stress around the stuff because the stuff doesn't have the context. You didn't understand things that you now understand when you collected the stuff. So the stuff might not even be the right stuff. Can you talk to that a little bit? Has that been your experience too?
That was definitely my experience before the evidence engine. But now that I've gone through it with you, like I've got a plan. So I'm checking in with, I'm getting feedback, and I'm checking in with different people about what they think. Sorry, I sort of went off on a tangent there.
No, that's good. So you're getting feedback from lots of people. And I guess, is that because you're very clear on the, can you talk to what you learned about impact? Are you now much clearer about that? Can you share your knowledge on that?
Yeah. So for HA, the impact that I need to make is on my colleagues. So I was doing that before, but I wasn't documenting it, and I wasn't confident in asking for feedback from colleagues. So I've been meeting the criteria for a while, but I haven't been consistent in and also aware of what I actually need to do to submit an application.
Yeah. Which is saving you time and removing some of that stress, I'm guessing, right?
That's
because
right.
You've got a plan, right? You've got a plan. Absolutely. So that's wonderful. So if you had to pick one lesson or maybe one module of the evidence engine, which one do you think gave you the big moment? Like, what is your favorite subject or lesson or module in the evidence engine, and why?
So there's probably two. Like when we went through the career to a stage breakdown, that was super helpful. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's not a bunch of incoherent sentences that I don't understand. I get it. I get what I need to do. That was really helpful to be able to practice using that in the context of collegial interactions, and actually use it to ask my colleagues pertinent questions about things that we've done together. Was like, I can do this. Like, this is not insurmountable. This is not a massive, overwhelming amount of work. This is doable, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now.
Oh my God, I'm already doing it. I love that. Now you broke up there a little minute, but what you said was that the linking chart, because that's the bit that cut out. So what Sarah's talking about is in one of the modules, we have a whole section where we make impact visible. And I share some teaching practices that I used to use all the time with my kids to share ways in which you can make the impact visible for your students. And of course, those in the course who are working at HA and Lead then tend to adapt those with my help, I guess. It's not that hard, and use them with colleagues. So you're talking about those, I give you I think it's 3 different frameworks in that module to play with. And I love that, you've now got a worksheet, basically, you can pull out, slap on the desk of anyone you're having a conversation with, any PD you're running, any meeting you're having, any mentoring. Oh, before we start, fill this in. Okay, now we're done. Fill this in. And the linking chart is actually, it's based on research around neurology of learning and looking at where you were at the beginning and where you're at now, which of course is impact, right? So it's all based on Alistair Smith stuff. And I share that with the gang. So I'm really glad that, it's really interesting to hear the one thing that people love. I noticed that you cheated and said 2, but we'll forgive you. So I guess understanding the career stages and knowing who your audience is and really understanding the standards and the focus areas so that you knew what you were looking for, and then having real tools that you could implement to see that impact has been great. Wonderful. Okay. So where are you at now with your evidence gathering, and how has Evidence Engine helped you create this plan, and where are you at now?
So at the moment, I'm just starting in a new role, and I'm also doing like a coordinator sort of situation. So, which is a step up for me. So I'm just sort of gaining confidence in the classroom with the children, with the parents. I am sharing some of your wisdom with others. This year, I plan to get some sort of evidence in order, and I think I'm going to give myself a year to sort of just implement what I learned from you, and then I'm going to apply, and then I'm going to sort of do it in an informal sort of way, and then I'm going to apply and go from there.
Yeah, so take the informal practice, and then all you have to worry about then is, how do they want me to lay this out, and how do I make it sound fancy? Which we've covered a little bit in the course as well, right? You've got lots of examples there to look at too. Are you also mentoring anybody else? I know you're working with your lead teacher. Are you using the skills anywhere else as well?
Using it with someone, a previous colleague who's going through proficiency. So that's been really helpful, and I've been able to give her a couple of questionnaires and also check in via email, and that she's not at the same school as me anymore, because everything, there's an evidence trail sort of thing. So that's been really good, and she feels a lot more confident and a lot less stressed. Like, she was really not in a good place before I offered to give her a hand. She felt completely overwhelmed, and she was really physically stressed. So I'm really the reason I'm going for HA is because I love, we're teachers, we love helping people, and I wanted to just put that in writing, I guess, that's what I do. That's how I do it. And this is, something to be celebrated, not feared.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that. And it really warms my heart to know that the work you've done with me is having a ripple effect, because everyone who does the Evidence Engine gets a promise from me that you'll be so good at it, you'll be able to teach somebody else how to do it. I'm trying to raise an army of educators here who got this and are not bothered and are quite happily getting their HA and lead, thank you very much, without any of this stress and nonsense. So it's beautiful. That's already 2 people, one at lead and one at proficient, that you're already supporting on their journey, which is amazing. That's really, really good. So the Evidence Engine is rippling through. That's wonderful to hear. Good work. That's awesome. And I love what you're saying about taking a year to practice and to see what you can find out. And then once you've got your head around, how your work connects with the standards, and by then, hopefully your heat map, which will show you the things that you love to talk about, the things you're avoiding, you can then really have a solid plan. And you're quite right. It won't take you long then to pull all that together. Most people who apply for HA spend a couple of years doing it, but retrospectively and very stressfully. But what you're describing here is a solid plan with clear steps that will result in the outcome you want in a really meaningful way, because along the way you're pulling other colleagues up with you, which is absolutely amazing. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Sarah. I guess what's next for you is we're going to have to get you back so you can do the certificate dance when you've got your HALT certification. And we want to hear how that goes. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And all these other people you're mentoring, we'll have 3 of you dancing. We'll have proficient, highly accomplished, and lead all represented in one little video. Yeah. It's happening. It's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. That's wonderful. So would you recommend the Evidence Engine to someone who's, got a bucket full of stuff and doesn't know what to do with it? Because that's kind of where you were at, do you think that's a good idea? Does it help?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really like I've already recommended it to a friend who was going for lead, and she like that's a third person.
Oh my God, another one. Yay.
Sent it off to a few people just going, this was really like, I wouldn't say life-changing, but it was definitely like a big relief. Like there was, after I did the course, I thought, I just had this sense of, oh, okay, I know what I need to do and I just need to just go and do it. Like,
yay.
And what I'm already doing is what I need to do. So I just basically need to continue doing what I'm doing and just think about it in a slightly different way. Like it's not a big jump, you know? And I just felt like before I did the training with you, I just felt like it was just weighing down on me and I didn't know where I was going with it, if I was even going to attempt it. And so I've gone from like, oh, maybe I should give this a go to, yes, I'm going to do it. And this is how.
Yeah. Got a plan, got an action plan, going to put it in. And while I'm at it, I'm going to pull 2 other people along with me. Beautiful work, Sarah. Thank you so much. Good on you. We will definitely have you back to celebrate with you. We'll make that video with you and your colleagues. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
No worries.
Was there anything else you wanted to say? I didn't really give you the opportunity.
The only other thing I wanted to say was, like before I started, there's no way I would have had the confidence to try and help anyone in this area. I would not even have spoken about it, to be honest. Like I was completely fearful and felt like I would never understand it. So to go from that to actively helping people with their accreditation is a huge leap. It is having a rippling effect, and it's almost like helped me assess like what is necessary stress and what is too much and what is optional, you know? Like,
okay. Yeah.
So it's just changed so many things about my practice in the classroom and outside, like at home as well.
Wow, that's an amazing thing. Thank you so much for saying that, Sarah. That's really good to hear. What an amazing story. It is always such an honor and a pleasure to capture the stories of confidence building, transformation, mentorship, impact, care, and passion that comes from each student that I work with in the evidence engine. I mean, fancy being in a position where you are going through one career stage and mentoring the person above you, because that's how confident you are, how well you know this process. I hope that this conversation has been an inspiration to you and others. And if you are keen to have an opportunity to join me with the Evidence Engine cohort that is opening very soon, then make sure you head to edufolios.org/win to enter a competition to get an opportunity to win lifetime access to the Evidence Engine for absolutely no cost. That's right, I am giving away 1 lifetime access to the Evidence Engine before March 30th, 2022. So if you're listening before that date, head to edufolios.org/win and enter. I hope that I get to be your mentor and help you go on an amazing journey of transformation, of boosted confidence, and of course, a real celebration of the impact that you, my friend, are having every single day. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Reflective Teacher Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and love us on Instagram. I will see you this time next week. Take care.